morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's my honor to be here to introduce the youngest guest, Colin, Loftus. He began his education at an elementary school in Prince George in North British Columbia. In grade 3, his family moved to Victoria, where he attended Loftus Elementary School until grade 5. From grade 6 to 10, he attended Pacific Christian School, an independent school. He completed the final 2 years of high school through South Island Distance Education, taking all of his courses online. He graduated in June 2012 and now attends the University of Victoria, majoring in mathematics. Okay. Majoring in mathematics. Okay. Let's welcome Colin.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, Colin, have a seat, and Louise. You can do it.
Hi, I'm Louise. Nice to see you. In Beijing, we have already knew you because Marianne introduced you. Your experience is so fantastic.
Yeah,
so I understand that you have experience with the online learning and the classroom learning. I have 2 questions for you.
Okay.
First one is, can you tell us something about advantages and disadvantages of online learning? And the second is, can I ask a question together?
Same time, it's okay.
Yeah. The second question is, how does your online learning experience compare with your classroom learning experience?
Personally, there's a few that affected me a lot. One of the main ones is that I can work at my own pace and not on a set schedule, meaning that there's no specific times that I need to be studying or that I even need to hand in assignments. There are no deadlines for anything. So if, for example, I had a job, which was the case for some of the 2 years that I was doing online learning, I could work around my schedule for my job, and I could do my school around that. So I could have more flexible hours for my work. I could study on the go anywhere, go on a trip, or if I'm downtown, maybe reading a book. They have internet access anywhere that there's internet access. I can access my studies.
So in some ways, it's really flexible for you.
Yeah, it's very flexible.
You're lucky.
And there's always help available for online learning. I find that it was really easy to access someone if you have questions. But keep in mind, they do have hours on the day that the teachers work. So from 9 to 5, you can ask questions, but outside of that, it's not as easy. So some disadvantages I found are it's really easy to fall behind if you're not really self-motivated, because there's no one to get you to do the work. You kind of have to get yourself to do it. So if you're not used to a unstructured studying environment, it can be difficult. I could study outside of school hours. I could get assistance from instructors only between the times that were between 9 and 5. So let's say if I was working between 9 and 5 myself, then I had trouble with an assignment outside those times. I'd have to wait till the next day, which was just a bit of a speed bump, but not too much of a problem because there's always other stuff to work on until you can get your questions filled.
So you have to arrange the time.
Yeah, definitely. And there's a range of different things you can work on when you're studying. So the biggest difference for myself would be the self-paced work. I found that if I was having trouble working on an assignment, that I could ask for assistance easily, and just through a simple email or even a phone call, and it wouldn't affect what time, like if I had trouble and I needed extra time to work on something that I wasn't so efficient at, I had that. But a lot of the time for me, I need to move quicker, because I found that a structured classroom with the teacher and all, like 30 other students, when you're working on something that came easily to you, it held you back if other students had more questions and the classroom couldn't move on together. So when I'm working on something that I know really well, I can get through it quickly and focus all my time and my efforts on something that I maybe need more practice on. Probably the second biggest was being able to study anywhere with computer access. I went from being at 5 different classrooms a day at a certain time to not having to be in any classroom every day at any time. So that was a really big difference for me, changing from a structured classroom to online learning. I usually ended up studying close to regular school hours anyways, just to keep it consistent. But if I needed to work outside of the regular school hours, it was simple and easy, and it was very convenient. This itself is kind of a con and a disadvantage, because although there is no teacher enforcing the work, and there was no specific date to hand in assignments, it was easy to fall behind. So
sometimes you have a pressure to be afraid of being behind.
Yeah, definitely.
I couldn't hear you. What did you say? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. So I think sometimes he may be afraid of being behind the others. Yeah. So some pressure.
Definitely. That aspect that you don't have to hand in everything on a certain date and there's no one to get you to do your work is a bit of a curse for people who aren't really self-motivated and want to do the work for themselves. Though happily that wasn't the case for me. It worked well.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
That's great. I want to point out, did you notice how Colin asked me ahead of time if he could refer to his notes? But he doesn't have any paper. What is he using? Using his phone, right? Using his handheld device, getting answers. So he prepared, but not how I prepare. He prepares the way that young people prepare nowadays, using his phone. Thank you, Louise, and thank you, Colin. And now it is Anita's turn. So Anita, come on up, introduce yourself, and have a seat.
Hi, Colin. I'm Anita. Glad to meet you. Yeah. I'm very glad to have a chance to have a conversation with you about online learning. You know, we are all very interested in your online learning experience. You know, in China, online learning for a high school student or a middle school student is very, it's not popular. Yeah,
It's done very
so
well.
yeah, fewer students can finish their middle school or high school education online. So I have a question about did you feel lonely when you have online learning?
Yeah, definitely. The transition from being around 30 people in a classroom for 5 hours to 6 hours a day to just being at my house by myself studying was quite the difference and quite the change. But for me, personally, one of the reasons that I left school was that I had a lot of interaction, but they were all they felt short and shallow and a bit meaningless for me. So I wasn't really satisfied with the social aspect of high school that I was already having, so I wasn't worried about switching to an online school. After switching schools, I really kept in touch with the friends that I had, that we had really strong connections, and it kind of helped me find those friends that are really good for me. So though I wasn't talking to as many people, I feel like the fewer interactions I was having were more meaningful.
Thank you. Just now you answered my first question, and you also gave some information about my second question. For social citizens, we need to communicate with others, collaborate with others, and we need some time or some situation to work together and discuss some questions. So I just wonder, how did you develop your social skills while online learning?
My social skills when online learning, the majority of my schoolwork I did at my house by myself, so there wasn't other people that I could ask questions to, peers that I could ask. They did have forum boards and stuff where you could post questions and other students could see it, but the technology wasn't really up to date, so it wasn't really popular for students to go on there. On occasion, I met some students at the offices where I did some of my studies, the teachers where they work. They have a student center where you can go study and do tests and stuff like that, and I've met students through that way, but none that I've had reoccurring interactions with or become really good friends with. Despite that, I didn't really make any friends through that. I feel like I was prepared for a more realistic social feeling that you get after you graduate high school, when you're not forced to meet with everyone or talk to people in your class, like the 30 kids in your class. I had to go out of my way to talk to my friends or my peers if I had questions or just wanted to talk to them. And I feel like that prepared me for an after high school kind of experience, because suddenly you're not seeing the 30 kids every day when you graduate. So now that I'm in post-secondary, that's kind of what I've been noticing, that a lot of people are losing contact with people they saw every day and stuff like that. And maybe they did group projects with in the past, but online learning, I think, prepared me for that transition from high school to other aspects of life.
In the 2 years for your online learning, do you need to finish some social practice in the society, a community, or to be a volunteer to do something for the community with your classmates?
I never really interacted with classmates that were specifically in my class, exempt from message boards or, for example, one of my English classes, we had to write poetry and we'd post our poems online, and you could go through and read some of the other students and kind of get examples of other people's work and ideas through that way, but I didn't really see most of my classmates till I was graduating. Everyone in the ceremony kind of was like, "Oh, nice to meet you for the first time."
Colin, I think, Anita, were you referring to volunteer work?
Yeah.
Or work experience? Because that's a requirement for graduation.
For graduation, yeah.
So I think that's what she's talking about.
Okay. There is. They have the same requirements as a regular school. It's 30 hours of community service or work experience for graduation, but it is the same here with my online learning that it was with my high school in regular classroom learning. They had the same expectations.
And you did it through work experience?
Yes, I did it through work experience. I worked at McDonald's for a little while just to get through, just to graduate.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
So, before Bill comes up, I did want to mention, how many of you went to SIDES, the South Island Distance Education School? Everybody went there. Okay, that is the building that he's talking about. When he said he went to the office.
Yeah, the SIDES office.
The SIDES office. So how often would you go?
For some classes I went 2 or 3 times a week just to study there and get some tutor assistance, but other classes were much more independent learning, and I only went a couple times every 2 weeks.
Okay. Okay. So do you see how that works? That they have the building that he can go to. Did you have to make an appointment? Or
No, just drop in whenever you want to.
Yeah. And then whenever, if he's working, then he can pop in on his way, or if he's not going to be coming into town that day. So just very flexible. Okay. Thank you. And Bill, it's your turn.
No problem.
Hi.
I'm Bill.
Nice to
Nice
meet
to
you.
meet you. I have heard from you about you from Marianne in Beijing.
Yeah.
Also, I need early to meet you and ask some question about online learning. All my question all about I think when you online learning, maybe you can meet some problems or troubles. What kind of when you have problems on one subject, or what kind of support you can get, and how did you get the answers?
For my online learning, actually, it was really simple and easy for me to get help with questions I had. I found that online learning was more straightforward, and it was simple to learn compared to my classroom experiences learning. So I don't think there was as many questions or conflicts that I had just because it was online. But even when I did have a lot of questions, it was just as simple as sending an email to my teacher or phoning them during their office hours. They're really flexible and easy to get a hold of. If the problem even expanded past that, and it was just I couldn't get something quite right, they have teachers and tutors at SIDES office that you can go whenever, just stop by, and you can ask them for help, and they're more than willing to sit down with you and work you through your questions or your homework or any questions you have. They'll be able to answer it. They're really accommodating.
Let's say you can get a report from your teachers and some classmates. Is there your families can help you on that learning?
Yeah, with my family, when I first told my dad that I wanted to switch to online learning, he didn't know much about it, so he was a bit apprehensive. He wasn't so sure. But after I explained to him why and some of the benefits, and I showed him around the offices at SIDES, he was really supportive for me to do online learning, and he was more than okay with it. And that's more than some parents would be. They'd be kind of scared to have their kids working their own schedules and stuff. But he trusted that I was going to make the best decision for my education. And but outside of that, SIDES is really self-driven. If you can't get yourself to do the work already, then you shouldn't have to have someone on your back getting you to work or getting you to do it every day. You have to be able to get yourself to do it, for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Colin. Do you need a glass of water or something? No. You're okay? All right. Thank you. Interesting to know about the family support too, how the family will feel and support the children. As you are listening to Colin, I would like you to think about what do you think are the chances of success in China for online learning programs, and how that might, what are some things you might do differently, and what are some things that you feel would be successful in China. Okay? And now I think it's time for Sharther.
Here.
Sharther, there you are. Thank you, Sharther. Come on up. And here you are.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you.
I'm Sharther. Have you ever heard of the name before?
No, I haven't.
Because I made the name by myself.
That's the best way, you're unique then.
Okay. And we have another classmate, same name to you, Colin, over there. bigger Colin. Yeah. And I know you can study online by yourself, independent, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And I think I like to do that, but I have no chance to study online. And I wonder about how you are able to successful work independently. And would you please tell me how did you deal with the challenge about everyday study, about your learning? And when I do it, I think that it's not always very interesting.
Yes.
I met a lot of challenges.
Yes,
and that's a very hard problem. And will you please tell me how to deal with that problem?
Honestly, online learning was, like I said, really straightforward and easy to understand. The way they lay it out, really step by step online, which made it quite simple. But when I did have questions or challenges that I encountered, finding help with my teachers was really easy to do and really just at my fingertips. Just
also online, right?
Yeah,
with
all
your
online.
teacher, and you ask your teacher to help you to deal with the problem.
Yeah, just an quick email takes a couple minutes, and they're very prompt to get back to you right away. I found all my teachers were very good in that. Do
you have any other ways? Your classmates?
I could ask my classmates questions using the forums or messaging them directly, though I didn't give or receive very much student interaction help.
By video?
No.
No video?
No, I didn't do any.
But only type is hard to solve the mathematical problem.
Yeah,
Sometimes it has a lot of picture and it's hard to describe by word.
Definitely. They had instructional videos and stuff like that for mathematics, but when getting help for mathematics, it was definitely easier to go and talk to someone in person or over the phone.
Over the phone?
Yeah, over the phone. if it was just a short question, I could call my teacher and they would try and explain it to me over the phone, but their hours are available for students. Everyone knows when the teacher will be there and when they won't, and when they can get help. And so going into sides and getting help is really simple and easy, and they're very welcoming there.
And do you think sometimes it's very boring when you're learning? I don't think it's always very interesting. You addicted into the flow, and you always can indicate the learning. Sometimes maybe not interesting, and you feel boring. You feel throw it out.
Yeah,
and,
definitely.
How do you deal with that kind of problem?
Losing motivation for assignments can be a problem, definitely, and it's one that I've encountered many times. But
I mean, your motivation come from where?
My motivation really comes. You have to get it from within yourself.
By yourself.
Yeah.
Self-directed.
Yeah, it's really self-directed
And
learning.
anything else?
I could. Sorry. My enthusiasm. Well, I felt like I was taught to go to class when I was.
You're taught to go to class?
Yeah, or to get to work, because when I was learning online, I wasn't forced to attend a school, or I wasn't forced to attend any certain lectures or do any certain projects at
you
a certain
listen to
time.
others' lectures, or you give a lecture to others?
No, I can do the lectures when I want them when I want to. Because of that, when I did sit down and I wanted to learn, and I was open to take information in, and I was taught to work hard. I think that helped me learn to work hard, and it boosted my enthusiasm for learning.
And maybe I think another reason maybe is the examination. You need to take the exam?
Yes. Most classes still had an exam, but for some of my science classes, the assignments that I did throughout the course counted for the final exam, and I didn't have to take one.
You pay more attention to the final exam?
Yeah, because
the course asks you require you must pass it, right?
Yeah, exactly. And when I sat down to do the work, I wanted to do it for myself. And I think even when I was relenting an assignment and I didn't want to do it, and I was procrastinating and delaying to do it, maybe I was bummed out from another grade that I got that wasn't so good, and it didn't make me want to do the next one. Just sitting down and working, just putting your work into it, it really shows when your work comes through online learning, I think, because you're doing it all yourself, and you can see the progress in front of your eyes on your screen. So
when you're learning, do you think you have a competition with other students?
No, it's non-competitive at all.
You're not competitive?
No.
No.
I don't think I experienced any competitive aspects of my online learning.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Welcome to the year.
Thank you, Charlotte. So, Colin, would you say it was your choice to work hard or not to work?
Yeah, every day I had to make the choice to work hard.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. That's what I was hearing from you. Okay, our next guest interviewer is Tony. Tony, come on up.
Hi, smart boy.
Nice to meet you.
I think Colin is a smart boy because he must be on self-control ability and self-direction ability. He can learn by online learning. Maybe he must can integrate the online learning and school learning. Because I'm trying to make changing in our school about tech knowledge integration. What do you think are some the knowledge about integration? I really want to know what do you think are some of the benefits and the limits of online learning and school learning?
Online learning, like you said, is very self-driven. And this is the same type of experience I'm going through in post-secondary at the University of Victoria. So I really feel like studying online and having to get myself to do the work prepared me for post-secondary and having to do a lot of learning outside of class and getting myself to do the work. The missing social aspect that is obvious with online learning actually was an advantage to me, because I felt when I was going to school and the social aspect took away from the educational one, and a lot of students, including myself, put lots of effort into the social aspect and not as much into the educational aspect. And so when I was doing online learning, taking that social aspect and narrowing it down so there wasn't so much of it gave me a lot more time to focus on the educational value of my courses. What's really important, it's the learning in the schooling is not the social aspect as much.
And I think if you have online learning, you need some special skill or special equipment or other environment to support your learning experience. If you could make your decision again, would you choose online learning or school learning?
I would choose online learning a million times. Online learning was one of the best decisions I've ever made for myself. It really revived my enthusiasm for learning and having to be able to do it myself instead of being forced to do it. And taking control of what I really wanted to get from my learning experience was a benefit for sure. I got more work done in a shorter time because there wasn't other students or teachers helping other students in my classes. I could always focus on what I wanted to focus on and what I needed to focus on, and spend time on things that were giving me trouble rather than the things that might be giving other students trouble. I have different strengths and different weaknesses than other students, and I think online learning gave me the ability to focus on the things that I needed to focus on instead of a classroom of 30 kids with different strengths and different weaknesses.
Yeah, and why would you make that choice?
Online learning for me was a really it was an important choice in my life because I didn't know what I was doing in classrooms as much, and I was getting distracted and it wasn't working for me and I didn't know what to do. And suddenly someone told me about online learning, and I made that choice not really sure what it would be like. So now that I know what it's like and how much it was successful for me particularly, there's no question in my mind why that I would do it again. I would do it for sure.
And I'm focusing on this field about technology integration. I think you must become a smart teacher. Do you want to integrate the online learning and school learning?
Definitely.
I mean, if you are a teacher, you can tell your students to integrate the online learning and school learning.
Yeah, I think both really have advantages and disadvantages, and having a mixture of the two in a learning setting could be really helpful.
Yeah, maybe your experience can give me some suggestion about my change management. I'm not really sure. Accessing my assignments and everything that I needed to hand in and with a list in front of me was something that I found really helpful, and being able to focus on the things that gave me trouble, like I said, was something that I found really helpful and was something that was lacking in classroom settings. So having an online learning as on the side, they call it sides online learning. So a lot of students that go to typical classrooms do online learning outside of their regular school, and so that works really well for them. I never tried it out before I went into it full force, but it's definitely something people do. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tony. So I have a question for you, Colin, and then I'm going to open it up to everyone. You were 15 or 16 when you made that decision? Was something like that?
Yeah, definitely.
About 15 years old. 15 years old. How old do you think a student should be when if they're going to make a decision about online learning?
I think it really depends on the student and how they can be driven to get their work done. I feel at a young age it would be really easy to get distracted if you weren't going to class every day, going somewhere every day. Sides does have K through 12 though, so they find a way. I think high school age, which is 14 and up, I think would be good for making your own decision with consent from a parent and stuff like that.
So I think that many families who wish to school their children at home can also make use of sides of online learning with a parent helping and supporting the instruction at home, and then the child can grow into it. So that was my question. Some of you also still have questions. Is there anybody who wants to ask a question right now? One of you like to come up and ask a question? Oh, you've got more questions? One moment, Anita. I'll see if someone else has a question who didn't have an opportunity to come up. And if not, then you may. Catherine, did you have a question? Yeah? Okay. Anybody? Okay, we'll have Elvis come up. Yes, you have to come up. Yes, you do. You have to come up to the this is the hot spot. And introduce yourself to Colin.
Hi.
I've got a question to ask you. as we all know from Marianne, most of the time you learn online.
Oh, they can hear you, Elvis. Speak a little louder.
Most of the time you learn online, and I just wonder if you have any difficulties to communicate with others. And in China, we all know when we play with our peers, with our classmates, we learn. We even we walk together back home, we learn from each other. So I think you might lose some good opportunity to learn from others. Do you think is that a pity, or how do you solve that problem?
Well, going to school online, there was definitely much smaller social interaction. So I totally see what you mean with group projects and being able to communicate with your peers on a level that you can relate can be important. So they do have the online communication between students to kind of subsidize that missing aspect of learning, and working with teachers and stuff in person at the side's offices. But there's definitely that missing from the social aspect of online learning that is yet to be fully subsidized.
So, I mean, do you think it is a pity, and how will you solve that problem?
Okay, he's
do you
asking.
think it is a pity, and how will he solve the problem?
It is a bit of a pity, but I found that because of I was lacking in that area, I had to make effort to communicate with my peers outside of school, and I think that made my relationship with them stronger.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And I wish you to succeed in the world.
Thank you.
Thank you, Elvis. And Anita, you had another question?
Yeah, Wanda can ask the same question.
Oh, okay, good. Thank you. So Wanda, you can come up.
I know you chose the online learning. I want to know, before you chose online learning, you studied in regular school.
Yes.
Whether you feel uncomfortable or can't get more needs for in school, so you choose online learning.
Yeah, I felt that learning in a typical classroom setting, a lot of the teacher's time with 30 students was thinned out, and not every student got a lot of attention. I feel that when I switched to online learning, there was a lot more resources for assistance and communication with teachers that I could access.
You have more chance to conversation with teacher.
Yes.
So you choose online learning.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Wanda. And we have some more questions. Yes, come on up, Simon.
Nice to meet you, Colin.
Nice to meet you.
I'm Sam.
Hi.
So we know that you have made the best choice. You chose to study online learning. So I think most of the students will choose to study in regular school. And you said your parents, support your decision very much.
Yes.
But they didn't know very much about the online learning. My question is, how do you make your parents trust your decision? Because they must think that there must be some challenges for you.
Definitely.
Right? But they so trust you, and they might think yes, my child's future is bright because of his, smart decision. It is very hard for parents to make this decision, I think.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah?
For my dad, it was hard for him because he hadn't really heard of doing schooling online before I told him about it, and the staff and teachers at Sides are really welcoming and they're nice, and they explain everything in a way that makes a lot of sense. So bringing him there and having him talk to the teachers there made a really big difference in educating him in what online learning is really about. And once he knew what I was getting into and how I'd be studying, just from my previous experiences in high school and my success in self-motivation, and he trusted me to make the right decision. He wasn't so sure himself, but after I started showing results, then he was sure.
So that means their decision, their final decision is based on your previous performance.
Yes,
right?
definitely.
Good performance, right?
Yes.
And so they trust you. Also, they have to do some survey and communication with the teachers about this online learning. So they trust this. They think this is another very good way.
Yeah.
Yes, good. So another question is, students in regular school can be assessed by the teachers and through formative, assessment, or and the final summative assessment,
yes.
right? But you are not learning in school at them, and so how do the teachers and supervise your learning, and how the teachers assess your learning? Your learning process.
Through each assignment, a lot of the courses work through modules, and you work through each one at a time, and they can see your answers and which ones you got right and which ones you struggled with, and then when you hand in your final result for that section, they mark it and review it and give you their feedback, and see, they could tell you where you need to work on, where you really flourished and had good results. And so having just the feedback from the teachers was kind of a bit of a limitation, in the sense that I kind of got just written notice from my teacher that they were great with what I was doing, or maybe they needed to tell me I needed to work on my grammar or my spelling. I don't know. But meetings, if they had any concerns or anything, they go out of their way to call me and set up a meeting one-on-one at the offices, and then assess the problem and just get over it from there and work hard. And
yes, through these ways, you are sure that the teachers can know that you are trying your best.
Yeah,
to
definitely.
learn, right?
But it is really easy to slack off. There's no one forcing you to do your work, so a lot of students, they sign up for online learning and they do the first couple days, and then they go hang out with their friends and they don't get much done. But I feel the skills you learn when you have to get yourself to do it are really important skills to learn, just for life outside of school, as well as post-secondary and university. For me, University of Victoria, getting myself to do the work is a priceless skill that I learned through online learning.
So if some of us want to have online learning, and could you give us some suggestions and for a very efficient online learning, or would make us learn the knowledge of the content very effective?
Just sitting down. I made my own schedule for when I did my schoolwork instead of someone else making it for me. So sitting down and ensuring that there is some structure in when you study, I think is important. And online learning can be for everyone, but not everyone has the right skills to do it when they first start, and because they don't develop those skills really quickly or right away, maybe they don't succeed, but I think everyone has the chance to succeed through online learning.
So that means at the very beginning we have to set a goal and to make a very specific schedule.
Yeah, specific goals and scheduling your own personal goals are really important.
Do you have some experience about, have you experienced unhappy things online learning?
Definitely, there are some challenges that I had to get over and get through. Learning a second language online, I found was really difficult compared to compared to classroom learning, because the method they use is quite different, and it involved a lot of small tasks that took a longer time instead of a fewer amount of large tasks, as it was for classes like biology and English, which I was able to get through really quickly. Learning French online was a challenge for me, and it took a long time compared to some of the other classes.
Because of the environment. Right?
Because of the environment.
The environment, right. So that means that the teachers can create, group work, or, can give us some speeches and share their opinions, among the students, but you cannot get, these experience directly, right?
I think one of the most important parts about learning a second language is practicing it with someone else. So being face-to-face with a teacher in a classroom is really helpful.
Yes.
But learning a second language solely online, I was speaking to my computer and it would read if I was pronouncing it correctly, which sometimes proved difficult.
Yes. Okay.
So, but other than that, it was...
So that means if we want to learn in a second language, so the best way is to communicate with the teachers as often as possible.
Yeah.
In the office, or
Definitely.
Yeah, I think if they're lucky for you, you can go to the classroom, and to learn, the second language or to learn other subjects, and except of the online learning. So that means that you have the two kinds of learning methods.
Yes.
Right. So it's very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Oh, thank you. Well, I think we have learned a lot today about online learning and blended learning and some of the challenges and difficulties that were faced by Colin. And as I asked you earlier to think about how this would work in China, or what would be needed to make it successful if in your school district or in your school, or how could you begin? And I hope that you heard when Colin mentioned that some students in a regular classroom setting can also take online classes. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. They can take both. Colin decided to do all online, even learning French, learning another language, even physical education classes, everything online. But many students are doing a little bit. The hybrid classroom or the blended classroom model. So now I'm going to invite Thomas to come up and speak to thank our guest speaker. Would you like to stand? Yes.
Hi, Colin.
Hi.
I'm Thomas, and I'm on behalf of the whole class to show our thanks to you. I know that you have a very special experience in online learning, and you made the final success. So all of us are really respectful to you. Okay. So I'd like to show you a thank you card.
Oh, thank you.
With bilingual words on this card. I can show you what does it mean. The same, similar meaning. Okay. Chinese, in Chinese we say 尊敬的 Colin， 以执着的拼搏精神给我们以激励，高效的学习方法给我们以启迪，最后的成功让我们看到了希望。谢谢。In English we say, Dear Colin, Your hard work inspired us, all of us. Your effective methods offered us many implications, and your final success helped us to find hope in the future. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And this is all for you. Thank you. And here's another special gift. A fan, a very small fan, a very lovely fan for you. And I hope you can win a bigger and larger success in your future. Okay.
Thank
and
you.
I'm sure all of us have a very sincere hope for you to have more and more victories in your future life. Okay.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'd like to invite you to give applause to Colin for his success and also for his lecture. Okay. Thank you.